It feels so good to be a king. Ooh. Hey, shalom, everybody. What up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the next episode of Reading with Shallow. What's up? I'm Shallow, baby. What's up? I'm out here. Ready to read some shit. And we back into the next rowing session of Slave Revolution in the Caribbean, 1789 to 1804. 1789 to 1804. Good history so far, man. Definitely some good history. We read about a guy named McCandle. The boy was poisoning the boys. McCandle. McCandle was out there poisoning them people. But they got him. So far, so good, man. I like reading this. I like the idea and definitely the thought of revolution and the thought of how the Haitians did what they had to do. I don't worry about none of that shit. Anyway, but let's get the routine so we can get ahead and get started, man. I'm trying to go get in the woods this afternoons. Okay? And I'm ready to go ahead and make a move, man. So before I get to the woods, let's go ahead and read. Let's read. So that way I don't have the, man, I didn't get to read today. I'll probably still read later on tonight too, though. Later on tonight or early in the morning, whatever. Whenever I get up, it depends. We'll see. But I'll do another. I'm gonna try to do another. So let's work our body and work our mind and work our body again. But before we do that, like, comment, subscribe, tell your people, man. Shout out here reading shit, man. And tell them come do the same. Like, comment, subscribe. Come learn something. Let's see what treasures we can find in the slave revolution in the Caribbean. Let's see what treasures can we find. What awaits us? What awaits us in the Sea of Pages? The Sea of Pages laid before us by Laurent Dubois and John D. Garrigus. What awaits us? But let's work our body, man. Let's work our body right quick. 25 things. That's all I'm asking of you. 25 things. Give me 25. 25 things. That's all I'm asking of you. Do what you can do. Do what you can do. Do what you can do. But anything is better than nothing. Something is better than nothing. Anything. Shalom, Philip. What's up? Do 25 things. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I need to be doing this for that boat. All the way out. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27, that's 25 of you. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Ooh, I'm almost there. 5 more. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. I gave you 50. I gave you 50. I gave you 50, and all I asked of you was 25. And you can't do 25? Do 25 something shit. Do 25 somethings. Push-ups, jumping jacks, jump rope, hand claps, chopper styles. 25 somethings. 25 somethings. All right, that's better. All right. Let's get into part 3. Part 3 of the slave revolution in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean. Slave revolution in the Caribbean of 1789 and 1804. A brief history with documents, and we got to find these documents because there was quite a few named. Document 1, 2, and 3 was named, and we need to find out what they are. All right, let's get it. Where we left off, the revolution begins 1789 to 1791. Shalom, Garrett. Shalom. Shalom, everybody. Welcome. Welcome in. Let's let the rowing begin. Let's row. Let's work our mind now. Let's work our mind. Work our mind. What treasures can we find? Be about an hour. Let's read. The revolution begins 1789 to 1791. In July of 1789, slaves began gathering on the docks of St. Pierre, Martinique. They were mobilized by a rumor that the King of France had freed them and that local authorities were attempting to squash news of the decree. Many refused to work, and 2 threatening letters demanding freedom were delivered to the governors in document 4. Mark that. Well, we're going to put a question mark by it. So we got to see what these documents are, if they have them in here. This uprising took place before news from Paris of the fall of the Bastille arrived in Martinique. But slaves were aware of the calling of the Estates General, a body of elected representatives of France's nobility, clergy, and Third Estate, the rest of the population, that assembled to advise the king, and of abolitionist activity in France, both of which seemed to have spurred on their hope of imminent liberation. The revolt was quickly suppressed, but it was the first of a series of such revolts. Let's get it going. They going. The slaves were not the only people who were eager to participate in the revolutionary changes in the French Empire. And in 1787, King Louis XVI announced plans to hold a meeting of the Estates Generals to address France's fiscal crisis. Absentee planters hoped to represent Saint Dominique in the body and began to form committees in France, but royal officials rebuffed them. Nevertheless, in late 1788 and early 1789, without officials' approval, colonists on the island formed assemblies to write suggestions to reform and elect representatives. These men traveled to Paris to press for admittance into the Estates General, but they too encountered opposition. In 1788, Jacques Pierre Bressot, a writer and abolitionist, had started an anti-slavery group called the Société des Amis des Noirs. Société des Amis des Noirs. Society of the Friends of the Blacks, molded after a group founded in London for the year before. And members lobbied for the abolition of the slave trade and the gradual elimination of slavery in the colonies, pointing out that the claim of the planter representatives that they represent the entire population of Saint Dominique was absurd and misleading. Through the colonial deputies, though the colonial deputies did not get the number of seats they requested, 6 were admitted to the meetings of adversaries, Versailles. Let's see how to pronounce it. I think it's Versailles. Versai. Pronunciation.
Versailles.
That's Versailles, man. I won't.
pronounce the name of this palace located in Paris, France. We'll be looking at how to say more interesting but often confusing French words and names that many get
Come
wrong,
on,
so
shit.
make sure to stay tuned to the channel. In French it is said as Versailles.
Versailles. Versailles.
Here are
I'll
more
take that.
videos on how to pronounce more
Get the
confusing
hell
words
out
and
of here,
names.
man. Versailles. Versailles. Though the colonial deputies did not get the number of seats they requested, 6 were admitted to the meetings at Versailles by July 1789. By this time, parts of their state general had boldly transformed itself into the National Assembly, claiming to represent the will of the entire nation and openly confronting the king. Soon, representatives from Martinique and Guadeloupe were also admitted to the body, and by then the questions of tax reform that had driven the initial calling of the States General had ballooned into much broader political questions about citizenship and representation. On August 26 of 1789, the delegates approved the Declaration of the Rights of Man, which delineated a sweeping array of rights meant to provide the foundation for the writing of a French constitution. Planters and their friends in Paris described this document as the terror of the colonists, a potential threat to slavery. And alarmed by the direction of the French Revolution, they formed a society to monitor and intervene in the situation called the Club Massiac, the Club Massiac, after the meeting place, the Hotel Massiac in Paris. And one of the members published an overview of the Constitution of Saint Dominique, arguing that Saint Dominique was not part of France, but rather a self-ruling province. Shalom, Yuji. Saint Dominique's wealthy men of color were more enthusiastic than most planters were about the revolutionary changes, which gave them a chance to step up demands for an end of racial discrimination. And Vincent Auguier, a wealthy merchant from Cap Francis, was in Paris on business, and in late August at the Hotel Massiac, he presented an argument in favor of granting rights to free people of color, stressing the need to preserve our properties and to stop the disaster that threatens us. Perhaps to convince the conservative white members of the club that they needed free colored allies. And Auguier was deliberately unclear revolutionary actions against the tyrannical royal government. In a riot, crowds killed Colonel Maudout Duplessis. Crowds killed Colonel Maudout Duplessis and the royal commander of the city. The patriots took over the city, and the royal government moved to Cap Francis. Faced with the volatile situation in May 1791, deputies of the Constituent Assembly crafted a compromise that they hoped would provide both order and justice, and they decided to send more troops to Saint Dominique. I keep getting them confused. It's really the same place. It's just one on one side and one on the other. Saint Domingo is the other side of the mountains. It's the same island. Saint Dominic is the other side. What we know is Haiti today. They understood, however, that those reinforcements needed specific instructions about the vexed question of free colored citizenship. While many colonial whites in Paris had been vociferously restricting granting rights to free coloreds, Julian Raymond had continued energetically demanding that an end to discrimination and the granting of political rights to his class. Document 9. We'll have to see what all these documents are. Maybe I'll look at the front. Let me see right quick. I don't know, forward, where is the... Part 2 gonna be the documents. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see, the documents. All right, we keep reading. We keep reading. He had powerful supporters. Speaking before the assembly, and the influential deputy, Maximilien Robespierre, stressed that he saw no difference between the rights of Frenchmen and the rights of colonial freemen of color. Even representatives from port cities were increasingly sympathetic to Raymond's argument that his class was St. Dominic's best hope. And on May 15th of 1791, contradicting its earlier decision to not legislate civil rights in the colonies, the National Assembly voted to give full French citizenship to free men of color whose mothers and fathers had both been free and who owned sufficient property. Document 11, see figure 1. Oh, wrong one. The color line had been broken, and colonial advocates in Paris immediately sent a warning to colony. Oh, them niggas about to be free. Y'all better do something. The Negroes. The news infuriated the colonial patriots, who vowed to fight a measure they blamed on French abolitionists, especially in Port-au-Prince. Many racial whites loudly announced that they would never accept free colored citizenship, and wealthy free men of color rejoiced. But as they realized that colonialists in France were delaying arrival of the new law, they began to arm themselves. And in June and July, when is Juneteenth? Sound like Juneteenth. In June and July, fighting broke out between groups of radical whites and freed colors in Port-au-Prince, as well as on the nearby cul-de-sac plain. The situation was less tense at Cap Francis, where patriots had less influence, and indeed Lecoq was preparing for the meeting of the new colonial assembly in August, when smoke began to rise from the northern plain. Oh, they about to burn that sucker down, man. They about to burn that sucker down. I'll look at it again. This is a depiction of supposed to be what had happened between the blacks, or the free blacks, the whites. This is supposed to be what woman? Some type of woman. I forget what woman. The queen. And this is supposedly nature, but she got 14 breasts. It reminds me of the goddess Artemis, as well as Diana, who are depicted with multiple breasts, many breasts. It's a sign of fertility, which I think it brings up because the ground was fertile. It was fertile ground that they were on anyway. It says, this is an anonymous engraving, probably produced in 1791, presents the allegorical representation of the granting of rights to free men of color. The original caption explains the image as follows. Reason. Characterized by a woman with the sacred fire of the love of the fatherland on her head, places the white man and the woman and the man of color at the same level. What a woman got to do about it? Why a woman places them? That's what I want to know. Why would a woman place them at the same level? If it's the fatherland, would the woman be like, okay, she's like the mother? Behind him is a cornucopia, a banana tree, and a fertile courtside. And maybe that's where they get Artemis and Diana stuff from. He is leaning on the rights of man and holds in his other hand the decree of May 15th concerning the free people of color. Reason is being pushed by nature, who is wearing a crown of fruit and has 14 breasts. She is standing on a goatskin bag from which are emerging the demon of aristocracy, of egoism, which, though it's of a very action, ready to cross the ocean, and which is in the background. There's all kind of extra stuff, man. There's all kind of extra meanings in here. From slave revolution to emancipation, 1791 to 1794. By the middle of 1791, the French Caribbean had been racked by political conflict for 2 years, and enslaved people had been watching and had occasionally taken action. They had rebelled in Martinique in 1789, and they attempted to organize insurrections in Guadeloupe in April of 1790, and at Port Salut in the southern province of Saint Dominique in January 1791. In the later two cases, however, conspiring leaders were arrested before they could set their plans in motion. And many planters worried that revolutionary and abolitionist ideas would inspire more plots. Others remained convinced of the fidelity and servility of their slaves. The struggles on both sides of the Atlantic had not yet produced any changes in slavery itself, and it seemed possible that the institution would survive the French Revolution, as it had the American Revolution a decade earlier. But the course of the Caribbean history changed dramatically in August of 1791, when a massive and well-coordinated insurrection began in Saint Dominique's northern province. The speed and fury of the uprising shocked and overwhelmed planters, many of whom believed that their slaves did not have the capacity to carry out such a revolt. Many whites were killed on their plantations, while the rest fled to the safety of Le Cap. That's what a lot of pink people is worried about. That's what the pink people is worried about. Pink people, the pink folks. The Laffy Taffies. The strawberry Laffy Taffy people. Workers burned cane fields, ransacked houses, and destroyed plantations, industrial machinery, and documents 13 and 14. Pink folks. The revolt was planned quite effectively by delegates from plantations throughout the northern plain, and many of them drivers of the plantations, who met on August 14 in the woods near a plantation. At a religious ceremony, that probably took place a week later at another location. Conspirators apparently used the sacrifice to seal their pact in document 12. But we got to go through these documents. Originally planned for the night of Wednesday, August 24th, probably because insurgents hoped to capture Le Cap and destroy the planter assembly that was gathering there, the insurrection broke out 2 days early when some conspirators acted prematurely. And despite several attempts, the rebels were not able to take Le Cap. But they did quickly gain control of much of the northern plain. And in the first 2 weeks of the rebellion, slaves rose up in 23 of the 27 parishes in the northern province, destroying over 200 sugar plantations and 1,200 coffee estates. Though the rebels were initially about 1,000 strong, whites counted between 10 and 20,000 by early September. Shit, they came in numbers. In weeks following the August uprising, they managed to consolidate their gains and transform themselves into a powerful insurgent army that held out against repeated counterattacks from French troops and volunteers, and took many prisoners in documents 15 and 17. Ooh, I want to hear about that. Enslaved Africans were a vital part of the rebellion in the North, but the movement's leaders were mostly Creole slaves who had been born in the colony. There were also a number of free men of African descent, most of them free black, that is, not a mixed European African ancestry, among the insurgent early leaders. And the most famous of these were Toussaint Breda, Toussaint Breda, who would soon take the last name L'Ouverture, Toussaint L'Ouverture, Toussaint Louverture. He had been born in slavery, but was a free man by 1779, growing coffee on leased land and using rented slave workers. But the free colored population in the North was quite divided, and many joined in the effort to put down the rebellion. Even as revolts spread across the North, white patriots in the South and West provinces refused to accept the May 15, 1791 decree giving civil rights to wealthy free men of color. And the latter, meanwhile, were not willing to yield the rights Paris had given them. In September 1791, members of the two groups clashed, as they had a few months earlier, and in the plain outside Port-au-Prince, arming slaves to help them. In October, they negotiated a peace, but this broke down in November. Shit, that wasn't long, and then that peace did not last long. But this broke down in November, when news arrived from Paris that the Constituent Assembly in Paris had canceled the limited free colored political rights it had granted in the May 15th law. Into early 1792, groups of free coloreds and whites continued to fight in the region. And alarmed, it was going down. Alarmed at the rapid disintegration of a state discipline caused by the recruitment of slaves into these battles, wealthy planters in key districts abandoned the urban patriots and negotiated their own treaties with local men of color. In these treaties, the whites acknowledged that free men of color should have access to full political rights. And as these events were transforming St. Dominic, much was changing in Paris as well. In 1791, the Constituent Assembly had written and approved France's first written constitution. These deputies then stepped down, and a group of newly elected representatives took their place to rule France, with King Louis XVI as the constitutional monarch. And among the new legislators was the abolitionist Jacques Pierre Brissot. And Brissot and his supporters criticized Louis XVI's administration and argued that French revolutionaries needed to liberate the rest of Europe. They crafted a response to the news of insurrection in St. Dominic, which incited a range of reactions from political figures in Europe in documents 18 and 20. The strategy of the Brissotins was to present St. Dominic's free men of color as the best defense against the growing slave rebellion. And under their influence, on April 4th of 1792, the Legislative Assembly in Paris voted out another colonial law, revising the September decree of the Constituent Assembly, document 21. Oh yeah, there's a lot of other documents we'll have to go through. I'm just marking whatever the documents I see right now so I could keep going. All right. The negotiations, however, had broken down relatively quickly, and the war continued. And in June of 1792, Paris sent troops to Saint Dominique under the command of a second team of commissioners, whose assignment was to oversee the controversial extension of citizenship to the free people of color granted in the April 4th, 1792 decree, and to crush the insurrection and restore slavery. The Assembly appears to have chosen at least two of the new commissioners for their opposition to colonial racism. Léger Félicité Sonthonax, the leader of the commission, knew Brissot well and had written an article supporting the extension of rights to the free people of color. Another commissioner, Etienne Poverel, had also worked on behalf of the free colored rights, and arriving in Saint Dominique in September of 1792, the commissioners soon came to rely heavily on the newly enfranchised men of color, promoting them to both military and administrative positions. One of the new citizens, Laurent Jolissier, petitioned for the freedom of one of his slaves, in the process drawing an Enlightenment theater and reconfiguring ideas of racial identity and sexuality in interesting ways in document 23. Man, I hope that ain't no back door action. I hope he ain't a backyard again. Whites complained about this favoritism, but the colony soon faced a challenge even greater than just defeating the rebel armies. On August 10th of 1792, revolutionaries in Paris had arrested King Louis the 16th and Queen Marie Antoinette after discovering their secret correspondence with the Austrian Empire, against whom France had declared war on April 20th. In September, the Legislative Assembly proclaimed France, hold on, I'm almost to a point, had proclaimed France a republic. Its members then stepped down for the election of a new set of representatives. And this new body, known as the National Convention, began to write the new constitution that eliminated the monarchy and placed all power in the hands of the legislators. The legislators also tried the former king for treason, and he was executed on January 21st, 1971. The act led to war with England and Spain, and both kingdoms had their own Caribbean colonies, and soon the imperial war spread to Saint Dominique. Yes, sir.
And that's somewhere else, please, say.
Yes, sir, y'all can have some. Don't waste them.
Okay.
Do not waste them. I'm going to read to the next section. The next section, which is defining emancipation, which is like 2 pages. I'm going to read there, and I'm going to read to there, and I'm going to stop. I go get in the woods. I'm tired. As Saint Dominique was being invaded, a new governor, Thomas Francois Galbard, arrived from France, and people in Cape Francois, who criticized Sonthonax's reliance on the free men of color, rallied around the conservative Galbard, who was the son of a planter. And when Sonthonax had Galbard arrested on suspicion of plotting against him, the governor's supporters in Le Cap took up arms, and close to losing the colony's most important city to the counter-revolution, Sonthonax offered amnesty and freedom to the rebel bands camped in the surrounding plain, in exchange for help against the revolution's enemies. Oh man, you need help now, huh? A few thousand rebels accepted this offer and stormed into Le Cap, turning the tide against Gabald's forces, and thousands of terrified colonists fled to North America, meaning many taking their slaves. And meanwhile, desperate for more support in the battle against the Spanish and the British, Sonthonax steadily expanded his offer. And on July 11th, he announced that the families of all those who fought for France would also be freed. And there was increasing calls for a much bolder move and the abolition of slavery throughout the colony. On August 29th of 1793, after a major demonstration of Cap Francois, Sonthonax declared the end of slavery in the North Province in document 24. And in the South and West provinces, Sonthonax's colleagues, Poverel, had similarly extended freedom to slaves fighting on the side of the revolution. In September and October of 1793, as the British invasion began, he issued general emancipation decrees in these other two provinces. And in Paris, the National Convention was also facing external war. External war and internal rebellion. In this period, known as the Terror, deputies purged conservatives and even moderates like Brissot from their ranks, hoping to save the new French Republic from internal and foreign enemies. It was in this context that news of the abolition of slavery in Saint Dominique arrived in Paris, carried by an African boy, free black Jean-Baptiste Belle, and two other representatives from the colony. And on February 4th of 1794, the National Convention ratified the decisions of Sonthonax and Poverel, officially ending slavery throughout all French territories. In document 26, a mission was soon dispatched to the Eastern Caribbean, where both Martinique and Guadeloupe had just been occupied by the British, to carry the decree of emancipation to the other French colonies. And the colonists of 1795 contained specific anti-slavery language and affirmed that the colonies would have the very same laws as France itself. Henceforth, in principle, no geographical or ethnic limits could exclude people from being and acting as French citizens. Within a few short years, the slave insurgents who rose up at Saint Dominique in 1791 had managed to win both freedom and citizenship for all enslaved peoples of the French Caribbean. But the question is precisely, what these new rights would mean would animate new conflicts and debates on both sides of the Atlantic in the years to come. Oh man. So they got a picture here. We're going to read what the picture is. We're going to read that, and that's the last thing we're going to do. We're going to see what it says down here. Ooh, good googly moogly. I see a lady in bed. She holding a baby. Figure 2, the armed Negre. The armed Negre. This engraving by a little-known artist named Fagier shows an armed father and son leaving their house, presumably on their way to fight for their freedom. On their door is pinned a paper, I see it, that says, "Decree of the either court or convention, that returns liberty to the men of color. If the partial word is convention, this would clearly date the image at 1794. If the word is court, it might refer to the 1792 decree giving political rights to free men of color. And the composition suggests a clear relationship between the decrees in Paris and the actions of slaves in the Caribbean. The image is heavily gendered in the way it contrasts the manly father and son with a weeping mother and child. The different genders of the children, for instance, are curiously emphasized in atomically exaggerated representations of their bodies. Go to let on the door, the decree, the mama and the baby, the mom and the daughter, the daddy. That boy got that bat, boy. He about to hit them boys with that The Walking Dead. About to hit them boys with The Walking Dead. Hey, that was part 3, man. That has been part 3 of this episode. We have rolled our way through, man, the revolution, slave revolution in the Caribbean, 1789 to 1804. We have moved our way. We got it in and got it out the way. Now we just got to work our body. Oh, man. I'm tell you, man, that sleep monster be getting on me. It got on me, man. Oh, man, it got on me. Oh, Lord. The sleep monster. Now let's do 25 things, man. Do 25 things while I get my shit ready, man. I gotta get my bow ready. 25 things. $25 things. That's what I ask of you. I'm trying to go to the woods. I want to kill something. That's what I got on now. I'm gonna try to see what that thing do here. I'm gonna put this in here, and then I'm gonna give you 25. Oh yeah, 25 push-ups is what I'm gonna give you, cause I'm gonna wait in the woods. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait in the woods. But while I'm doing this, which I'm almost done, here we go, I'm done now. You could give me, y'all could have gave me 25 damn things already. There we go. I'm gonna hit that ball with that bell. Oh, I need to make sure I bring that in the woods with me. I need to get my wax. All right, bow ready. Ready for the woods? Hey, let's get 25. I'm gonna do my 25 push-ups right quick. Come on, let's get it in. 25. What you gonna do? I don't know what you came to do. I'm gonna do 50 shorties. That's what I'm gonna do. I asked 25 of you, but I'm gonna do 50 shorties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh shit, I almost choked myself. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Believe me, I feel all that shit in my chest. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Well, man, if y'all only knew how many push-ups this log has got, man. How many push-ups that log has got? Oh, man, I was doing 1,000 a day. 1,000 a day at one time off of that log. Oh, man. I mean, off of that stump. I was doing 1,000 a day. I ain't doing 1,000 a day now, though. That's for sure. It would be nice. I need to build back up to it. Not 1,000. I'm doing 1,000 regular push-ups, not 1,000 short things. But it is what it is. Man, we out here. I'm ready to go get in the woods. I done read. I succeeded. We have everything we need to succeed. I succeeded at reading. Man, I'm out here. Now it's time to succeed at knocking a deer lung loose. Oh. And we'll come back with the next episode next time. We'll pick back up in the slave revolution of the Caribbean, 1789 to 1804. The sea of pages that's laid before us by Mr. Dubois and Mr. Garrigus. And we're going to pick back up with the defining emancipation, 1794 and 1794 to 1798. Man, we done worked our body, worked our mind, worked our body. Man, we done did our shit. I'm out here. Hope you did something. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your people shout out here reading shit. Man, wish me luck hitting the dip and seeing a dip. Hearing a dip, something a dip. And we're going to see what's going down, man. Hey, till next time. Shalom, everybody, man. Shalom. I'm out here.